I found out what having a bipolar wife is like. Well, about 8 years ago, I found out what having a bipolar wife is like. I had become depressed that fall season and didn't really know why. Why would I be? I had a 70K career, was taking care of my wife, and 2 very young kids all on my own. It was the kind of depression where you're sitting at a stoplight with tears in your eyes and you forget where you're at or what you were doing. I talked with my doc and he fixed me up, saved my life. Then the next spring I figured out why. She was cheating on me. One night after work, I go to use the computer and she had left her work email up. Nothing too bad there, but I did notice some oddities. Enough that I finally decided to start taking note of the internet history and whatnot. Then I find she's been logging into a really weird Gmail account and an oddly named Hotmail. Now this person is outwardly sweet as pie. Think of her as a BBW church lady who was very pretty, volunteers at the kids' church and school and all that mom jazz. This didn't make any sense to me, so I eventually keylogged my own PC. It took less than 24 hours for the horror to begin. She had been giving herself away on Craigslist. She had been meeting up with not only random guys at weird hours, with me thinking she's over at the church helping out, to meeting up with a high school boyfriend at a park with my kids. I tried counseling with her for a few weeks. I don't know why, but when it came down to it, she kept denying everything. She said she really didn't want to do it, but he made her. I responded in front of our counselor, "So he raped you?" And she froze. She was pretty horrible in bed, but told one guy, a married Muslim guy from out of town, that he can do anything to her. Nice. For me, she's a starfish and every other guy in town, a play toy. Great. But wait, there's more. A lot more. So the next counselor visit a few days later, I say, "I want a divorce." No. She asks why. Why? Then when we walk out of the office, she shoves me in the parking lot. Okay, distraught. Fine. I go to ask if she's okay and she slaps me. Wow. Anyway, we'll fast forward. I make arrangements. I line up the lawyer. We have lots of long talks about how stuff should work out. She's playing nice. I leave the house I've been paying for and close the door as my kids are crying for me. That shit sucks. Fast forward another 6 months and I have a new girlfriend. A nice upgrade to a younger, hotter big boobs mom. Sweet. Wrong. The shit hits the fan all over again with the ex. She starts harassing me constantly. Harassing the GF too by sending nastygrams in sarcastic greeting cards and signing her up for magazine subscriptions with her address being so-and-so homewrecker. Batshit crazy stuff. I eventually log enough texts and emails to at least get it slowed down with a restraining order. She threatened to bash my head in with a bat. Apparently that was enough to get the judge to waive the fees. But then she starts in again harassing me about the restraining order. Wait, hang with me here. So a year after I've established my new life with new GF, I wake up one morning to do my usual morning business filling out paperwork in the bathroom, and I notice something is off. My chest feels tight and achy, so I immediately stop reading my magazine and take note. Yup, something's up. It gets worse. Then more worse. Now it hurts. Now it hurts bad. So I'm sitting there on the toilet with this sudden panic at 6 a.m. What do I do? We live 30 miles out of town. Who do I call? Am I going to get in trouble for having a blockage in an artery? WTF. I'm only 42. I eventually settle down to these realizations and slowly get up. When I walk by the mirror, I see my face. It's gray. Oh. I then walk out to the bed and slowly wake the GF, now wife number 2 by the way. I gently wake her, then ask her to please get dressed and go start the car. It's winter with snow and cold. She asks why, and I tell her something's not right in my chest. I know it wasn't the smartest thing to not call 911, but it would have easily taken a half an hour for anyone to get there anyway, as our fire department and EMT people are all volunteer. We get to the hospital and I walk in feeling okay. A lot of pain now, but otherwise I'm doing well. It took a while for them to figure it out. They gave me more and more morphine, but it didn't help much. Eventually they gave me an MRI, and that's when it got interesting. They wheel me right on out, but not back to the ER suite. I'm sitting by the triage desk when a nurse rushes by and says, "He's occluded, that's the only reason he's still here." Now I know what that shit means. I'm in the medical device business. They then put me in an ambulance to cart off to another hospital. I insist that GF rides with. I couldn't move. I held my chest the entire time, and the EMT was really quiet. We were greeted by a surgical team of about a dozen people, and my GF had no idea what was going on. A nurse starts rubbing her back, and she's tearing up as the surgeon gives me the rundown. I have an aortic dissection. Shit. I give her what I think is our last kiss. Sad face. It was and still is the best one ever. Smiley face. Apparently I survived. 5+ hours of surgery and all that. Induced coma for a day, and when I come to, I can hear her and the nurse talking, but I can't move. She's holding my hand, and I can eventually move a bit to where I start drawing on her hand to let her know I'm there. Okay, so, back to batshit crazy ex. She's been calling my workplace and my former boss and all the hospitals. My brother really came through and blocked her out, placing a family password with all the hospital staff. Later on in my several months recovery, he played middleman, bringing my kids out to the house and monitoring my email to keep me up to speed and her out of my life. He only lasted a few weeks before he quit that job. She's crazy. I asked what happened, what has she been saying, etc. Turns out, she thought that the episode would help me see the light, and that I would come back to her. That was a long time ago, but she'll still take a swipe at me any chance she gets. In fact, she even chased me down in a parking lot once while we were exchanging kids. Right in front of the kids, she drew blood. I had to run around the car and yell out so the people in front of the restaurant may even witness. They noticed. The sheriff said I could press charges obviously, but told me that the local police would have to escort the kids out of her house. I couldn't do that to them. There's more, but that was some surreal shit. The end.